It's been officially announced that DT has dropped Happy in place of the Bald Eagle. The Sultan of Smokes, Mr. Adam Killa is officially in the Call of Duty World League, my friends. It has happened. Killa is officially in the Call of Duty World League. This is a massive, massive thing. It's not a joke. It's really not a joke. I'm honestly super happy for the guy. Massively happy for Killa as he officially has joined Dream Team alongside of Chino, Cinder, and Diabolic. So, things that I'm going to be covering in this video. If you guys are curious, besides the fact that, you just heard the announcement, if you guys haven't heard already, or haven't seen by the title and the video, but what we're going to talk about today is obviously the new addition of Killa, what he brings to the table when it comes to this new DT team, what DT have to do, because they're currently in last place. How are they going to bring this one back? I'm here to talk about it, and obviously why was Happy the player to be targeted, why was he dropped from this team? Let's talk about that right now. So first things first, really hop into the reasons why certain things are happening. I'm going to go over the stats that DT currently has in the Call of Duty World League. It is obviously past week 6, and they've obviously played 12 overall series. We're going to be going over their overall standings, where they place at, and their records in every single game type. And this is obviously according to @CODStats on Twitter. I will have this exact link down in the description for you guys to go and click on. It might be updated by the time you see it, like as far as KDs go. You might not be able to see Happy's, but if you guys are just curious where I'm getting the information from, I will have that down in the description for you. So as it stands, obviously for the standings, it is currently Dream Team, who are sitting at 2-10 as far as wins and losses go. They have a 16.7 win percentage. When it comes to regular maps, they are currently 20-32 in overall map wins and losses. Their hardpoint game, they're sitting at 4-8. Their uplink, they're currently sitting at 8-4. CTF 4-8, and Search and Destroy at 4-12. As it stands for Happy, I believe his overall KD is around like a 0.94. Obviously, the player who was released. I believe at the UMG South Carolina, I believe he had like a 0.98. It was one of the higher KDs, but I think besides like Chino. At that event as well. So off the bat, this is kind of surprising for me in some cases, because I wasn't really expecting Dream Team, to make a change, but it has happened. It has happened, and I guess in some ways, like, this is definitely like not a strange thing at all. It's not strange to see a team who is without a doubt struggling make this decision. It's not strange at all to see a player like Happy be dropped. In some cases, for a number of different reasons. Happy's a fantastic player in his own regard. I gotta give him that. In my opinion, probably one of the best players when it comes to movement in Black Ops 3. Fantastic with his movement, and he's more of an objective-minded player. He's gonna be hopping in the hard point, he's been grabbing the bomb, so on and so forth. Everyone knows what an objective player kind of does in this game. But I'm not sure in some cases how his communication is. And I haven't been able to spectate Happy for very long. He's played on teams like Aware for a very long time back in Advanced Warfare. Before joining Dream Team, he's obviously on a roster and a team, actually, an organization known as Orbit for a very, very long time. Played along players of like Accuracy, TCM, Facento. I believe he played alongside like Burnsoff as well. So there's a number of different players he's played with. But Happy in his own regard is really good in my opinion. It was kind of surprising to see him be dropped just in general. But like I said, it was definitely kind of pardoned by the fact of their terrible record as it currently stands for right now. So obviously Happy has been dropped for a number of different reasons. Was it his objective play? Was it his communication? Was it just internal issues with the roster just not working out? Was chemistry not going on? That's where it most likely was happening at. When you have a pretty good team, I mean, none of the players I believe have a positive KD. If not, it's really close. I think 75% of the players don't have a positive KD, which obviously leaves one, which might be Chino, might be Cinder, might be Diabolic. Probably Diabolic. I think Diabolic is the only one that actually has a positive KD. Chino might be in that, like, really close to that. But the DT team, what do they need? What do they need right now? Obviously, I kind of pointed out some of their stats. I think, honestly, they're a pretty talented hardpoint team. Like, I think, honestly, they're probably, based off their record, they don't look very well. I think they're like 4-8 in overall hardpoint record. They get really close. Like, when it comes to hardpoint, these guys don't, like, get killed in every game they play. One thing that I want to point out as well, when it comes to their overall series, I believe in every series that they've played in, they've at least taken one map. And I know that sounds kind of weird, but like no matter what team they've played, no matter what roster they've came up against when it comes to the Call of Duty League, every time that they play against someone, they always take at least one map off of them, which honestly shows a little bit of promise. Like, to be realistic, like, I know that might sound a little bit strange, but like every team they've played against, I'm looking at the teams that they played: Elevate, Rise, FaZe, Cole, TK, H2K, and obviously TSM and OG, the two teams that they beat. Actually, they've always taken at least one map off, and a lot of the time they end up going to the game 5. So off the bat, that kind of shows me, hey, these guys can actually compete with some of these teams. At least they're taking a map off of some of these rosters, as well. That's kind of something to point out there also. And when it kind of comes down to it, their Search and Destroy game, like, why are you guys not finishing off in game 5? Like, why is that an issue? Well, the guy they bring in, the man, the myth, the legend, the Search and Destroy God, not a goddess. I think a woman. Goddess is like known as a woman. Either way, Killa is a very talented player. Like I said, he brings a lot to the table. His search and destroy strats are obviously key. And I'm not bringing this up, as a joke, like, oh my god, Killa the best search and destroy player in the world. He really is. He's very talented at search and destroy. He's a veteran. He's obviously a Call of Duty World Champion when it came to Black Ops 2, along with Impact. Back in the day, he's got some experience with Black Ops 2. He's got some experience with the Black Ops title. I believe he started playing competitive back in Black Ops 1. I believe Constance tweeted this out on Twitter as well. By the stats, the Dream Team the release of Happy with a .96 KDR has now been filled in with Killa, who has a 1.01 KDR. And you might be kind of curious as why was Killa in the Call of Duty World League. He actually subbed in for Opt Gaming the other night versus CLG, in which they were able to perform the reverse sweep, coming back, being down by 0-2, and obviously were able to kind of finish those guys off. And in his own regard, like, Killa was actually holding his own. Like, he was not playing bad. His search and destroy was very, very good. He was holding down the hill very effectively as well. So what the DT team needs, I think, honestly, is a good search player. I think they also need someone to kind of hold down the hill, give Chino and Cinder and Diabolic an opportunity to slay. And that's the big thing that I want to kind of point out here, in my opinion. I think, honestly, Chino back in Advanced Warfare had a lot of issues because, the teams that he was on, mostly on Rise for the most part of Advanced Warfare, he kind of was switching roles. He was more of a slayer, but they wanted him to kind of play an objective type of role style, and granted, that kind of worked out a little bit, but realistically, that's not his role. His role is to go around, get kills, do his work. That's exactly what he's there to do. Diabolic, to me, is probably one of the most underrated players that we have currently in Black Ops 3. He doesn't have the highest KD. He doesn't going to constantly be going off in game to game, but he's always consistent. He's probably one of the better players that we have as far as consistency goes when it comes to these bottom teams, the teams who are just not doing well, but they have a couple shining players, and Diabolic is one of those guys. I would kind of compare it, like, as far as like an all-star team, like if this was like an NBA, NHL, MLB, whatever, all-star team that you have when it comes to like a league. Like, I think Diabolic's one of those guys who kind of fits in there. Like, I think realistically, if there was like an all-star game, like not like a 4v4, but like you have like a 12-man roster, Diabolic's on that team without a doubt. Like, Diabolic is a fantastic player. And on a struggling team, like, what really can you do? Like, if your whole team's getting outslayed, you're in 1v3, 1v2 situations, your KD is automatically lowered. Like, just because, like, and for some examples, like, there's not going to be, and rarely do you see where a roster in Call of Duty has 3 players doing terrible and 1 player absolutely destroying. Like, you're not going to see 0.8 KDs from 3 players and 1 guy with a 1.4. Like, you're never going to see that actually happen. Like, granted, there's been situations where, some guys don't have as high as 1 player does, but primarily, every player on a certain team is going to have a consistent KD for the most part, and that's what some issues are kind of resulting from. Like I said, if you're getting completely outslayed, if your teammates are falling, you're in those 1v2, 1v3 situations, it's like good luck. And in some cases, I honestly kind of I applaud players who actually have a positive KD when you're 2-10 in the league, because that's actually really good. Like, to be honest, it's actually pretty good if you're going to beat that bad, and the fact that you actually have a positive KD kind of coming from everything. Applaud to you. I applaud to you. But like I said, I think honestly Diabolic and Cheeto the guys to get kills. Cinder's a great player, great hype man. Can kind of do some work in search and destroy. Kind of like a role player, support player as well. And when it comes to Killa, he's going to be the main objective player. I mean, the guy running a sub primarily. The active camo ability is very useful for him. Sometimes he likes to rock Psychosis, kind of in some case. I mean, not all the time, but he likes to run Psychosis. Partially a little bit of the time as well. When it comes to search and destroy, either runs overdrive or runs active camo. It kind of just really depends for the guy. Can kind of run either, but he really likes that overdrive when it comes to search and destroy. He knows what he's talking about. He knows the routes. He's just, like I said, he's a veteran. He's a leader. And I think that might be what DT needs. They need an objective slayer, search and destroy leader. That's exactly what Killa. Like that's all the things that Killa fills. Funny enough, I think he's honestly a good player. Like, as far as like the puzzle pieces, like, does Killa really mesh well for those guys? I'm not really sure. I don't know how he's going to work out with those guys. I don't believe he's played with any of these players, at least in recent history. He might have played with them in the past, like maybe like a certain roster for like a couple of weeks, or maybe have played with one of these guys for a tournament or so. But just in general, though, I think Killa's a fantastic pickup for these guys. Obviously, coming from Cloud9. Was released. There were some rumors on Twitter, and there was kind of a thing being spread around that, that he was supposed to be joining a league team. It didn't really work out. Basically, what kind of happened, for those who might be a little bit curious, if you're not, well, I apologize. But the Call of Duty manager, I believe, for Cloud9 had made a tweet longer a couple of hours prior to Killa's tweet. And I'll get to Killa's tweet in just a second. But basically, what this announcement on this tweet longer said was that we've officially released Sinful and Killa. Killa, the reason why we're dropping Killa is because he has obligations and is supposed to be joining a Call of Duty World League team. Now, I'm not sure if this was, Cloud9's way of saying, hey, you want to join another team, get out, or if they're being respectful and saying, you know what, you have an opportunity, go take it. And that might have been the case. But Killa, a couple hours prior to that happening, said on Twitter and basically said, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe they wouldn't let me join they wouldn't let me join before UMG South Carolina, and now that I want to join after UMG South Carolina, you know, they don't want me on the roster anymore. So it was like, you know, Killa's on cloud 9. He says, all right, I'm going to leave for a league team. That league team says, nope, not going to happen. And now he's left in the middle with no roster at all. So I don't know if that was actually happening at the time. I'm not sure if that happened to Killa. Cloud 9 then realized and said, hey, he now has an opportunity. I'm not really sure. Killa could have had multiple opportunities. Who really knows, you know, to be honest with you. In my opinion, if there were roster changes to go down, it would probably be between CLG, TK, or Dream Team. Obviously, we've had, you know, 2 teams out of the 3 in the bottom 3 overall make some changes. So, not really surprised, to be honest with you, though. I'm really happy to see Killa in the league. I think it's an awesome opportunity for the guy. He's been working his butt off. So, guys, let me know in the comments what you guys think about this new pickup for Dream Team. Do you guys think this is going to make them better? Do you guys think this is going to make them worse? Their overall upgrade, downgrade? What do you guys think down in the comments? Let me know down there as well. If you guys enjoyed the video, if you guys learned something new, feel free to leave a like if you guys did enjoy it. And yeah, that's really going to kind of do it for the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching yet again. I'll see you all in the next one. Have a fantastic day until next time. Peace out.